Amid a push by his brother Jimmy Uso to get him to reunite with him and Roman Reigns against the revamped Bloodline. Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso ironically rolled into the city of brotherly love tonight on Raw for a rematch against Braun Breaker. Did the master of the Yeet successfully defend his title against his angry, vengeful, explosive opponent? Or did the weight of outside pressures prove too much for the champion? Find out with this recap of tonight's show, which also featured the continuation of the number one contenders tag team tournament, including our ratings and analysis for each segment. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the phenom Michael Bullock. And Bullock and I had, we had our traditional Monday Night Raw chat this evening, as we usually do. But boy, howdy, so many things happening before Raw even started tonight. Big news in the world of professional wrestling that shook professional wrestling almost to its core today, with the announcement of a young lady who has been far and away the best ring announcer in professional wrestling over the last couple of years, Samantha Irvin, announcing her departure. She made an announcement right a little before 3 o'clock this afternoon that she was going to be leaving WWE and that her time as the ring announcer of Monday Night Raw was coming to an end. But not to worry. A more than adequate backup, a more than adequate replacement, someone that we know that the WWE Universe knows and loves just as much as Samantha Irvin, someone who knows Monday Night Raw very, very well, especially during the Ruthless Aggression and PG eras. Ladies and gentlemen, the original Monday Night Raw ring announcer, the one and only Lillian Garcia, is back in WWE, and she will be replacing Samantha Irvin as the ring announcer for Monday Night Raw on a full-time basis. Well, while we are all saddened by this announcement, at the same time, we cannot help but be excited to have the great Lillian Garcia back on Monday Night Raw. And let me tell you, tonight, it was like she never left. So, what a day. I mean, a big news day before Raw even started tonight. And, the three of us, we've had, it was Michael Bullock who dropped it in our Talking Wrestling TXN Messenger chat. He called me up just pretty much as the story broke. And man, I'll be honest, it is a stink. It is a big loss because Samantha Irvin, like I've been saying, has been the best ring announcer in all of wrestling over the last couple of years, especially this year, especially WrestleMania 40, without question her greatest ring announcing work ever. Especially when Cody Rhodes finished the story and became the undisputed WWE champion when he defeated Roman Reigns. And a moment that we will all never forget anytime soon. It's definitely our moment of the year. And the way she did it, it's not just that moment, but the way that she did it, with her facial expressions and the energy and the enthusiasm that she brought to the ring announcing position. I mean, she will be sorely missed. And on behalf of all of us here at Talking Wrestling TXN, we wish Samantha Irvin the absolute best in her future endeavors. And a lot of people were saying that she was going to, that when this announcement broke, everybody was, the conspiracy theorists were already out saying, oh, she's going, oh, we all, with this, where else? It's all about AEW now. There's no, I mean, she's got to be on her way to AEW. Hello, her man is there. So, and a lot of people went after him but he put the rumors to rest, saying she's not going to AEW, so you can rest easy. So it could be another promotion, it could be another venture, maybe it's a music venture. We don't know, but Samantha Irvin, all the best to you, dear. But at the same time, while it does suck to lose Samantha Irvin, I'm over the moon to have the great Lillian Garcia back where she belongs. And tonight, it was like she never left. I mean, you heard her, you heard the ring announcing that she did throughout tonight, and especially at the end of the night, man. So with that being said, gentlemen, did you do you want to give a quick thought on this story before we dive into the big show tonight?
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Bullock.
Open forum.
I'll let you take it.
It's an open forum.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I heard the story broke this afternoon with that she was leaving WWE, I mean, I was stunned. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people in WWE. Everybody in the WWE universe was stunned. I mean, like you said, Florio, she was at the prime of her career as a ring announcer, and then you hear this announcement. It's like, wow, what? I hope everything is okay with her. And I did see all those things on Twitter where people were literally calling out Ricochet, saying, "Oh, I bet Ricochet played a role in her leaving WWE just so they can get her to come to AEW." And they were even going after Tony Khan as well. But I think when Ricochet probably saw that, he was probably like, you know what, I need to come out and say something here. And that's when he pretty much said, Samantha Irvin's not going to AEW, so you can all rest easy. So that was pretty much him putting the kibosh on it, all that, because I mean, come on, boys, because we all knew. I mean, the moment we heard that she was released, I mean, what was the first thing that was going to be going through your mind?
AEW.
Yeah, AEW. Yeah.
But Ricochet said, "Relax, boys. That's not going to happen." And you told us earlier, Fletch, during our outing tonight, or on our way there, you thinking like that she's going to probably have a music career going on.
Well, I actually wanted it to come on because I actually now had the real reason why she left.
Okay. All right. Well, once we get to you, we'll let you elaborate on it.
Okay.
So
absolutely.
So yeah. But you know what? As much as it sucks that she's not going to be around anymore, I think you couldn't have had a better replacement than Lillian Garcia. I mean, she was loved and adored by so many in the WWE universe.
Still is today.
And she still is. And she still got that great singing voice of hers, and that
great ring announcing voice.
And the great ring announcing voice of hers. And I mean, there were certain names that were being thrown in there of who could replace Samantha Irvin, but I think you couldn't have asked for a better replacement than her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it sucks that Samantha Irvin's gone, but I'm glad to have Lillian Garcia back. So, Fletch, any quick thoughts? And what about that certain thing you just said that you heard, like the reason why she left?
Here's an exclusive.
WWE.
A Talking Wrestling TXN exclusive from good old MF Michael Fletcher.
All right, let me get the exclusive out of the way, and then I'll go in. I'll fill in the blanks that you guys don't know. So as of right now, the reason behind her leaving WWE is because of the schedule. Apparently, what it is that I guess it separated the time between her and Ricochet. That was somewhat not good for the relationship, for anything. Now, apparently, WWE and Samantha, this was a clean break. This was amicable. This was with nothing but love. They She asked for the release because the work schedule got a little too crazy for her. Triple H and the boys were like, you know what? We're cool with it. You know what? You're fine. No problems and everything else. Now, the AEW angle. Ricochet did come out and say that she is not gonna go. Not right away. But there is talk that eventually she will end up in AEW. But remember, because of the 90-day clause, because there is a 90-day clause in the contract, she will not be allowed to go to any promotion for 3 months. That's why Ricochet jumped out immediately and said, no, she's not coming to AEW. What Ricochet did not tell you is because of the fact that there's a 90-day clause in the contract that if somebody gets released, there's a 90-day. So she's got to clear the 90-day waiver before she can negotiate with any company. However,
So we probably won't see her in any wrestling promotion until the new year.
yes, that's the real scheme of things. However, in the forefront, she will be doing music because that's her original passion, and that's what she was tailored to accordingly right away. So you're gonna hear maybe some new music from Samantha Urban and some stuff. But anybody who says that, oh, there was an ugly divorce, no, there was no ugly divorce. So let's just squash those rumors right now. WWE and Samantha had no issues. There was no drama. There was no problems. There's nothing that has been reported as of now that there was nothing wrong with WWE and Samantha Irvin. So let's get that out of the way. The real reason that she's left was because of the scheduling. The work schedule was a little too daunting, and on top of that, it gave very limited time for her and Ricochet to be together, because if Ricochet is doing AEW, he's not only doing AEW, but he's also doing some other wrestling promotions around the world. Samantha is committed to WWE. Either that would be through a house show or through Monday Night Raw or pay-per-view. And those schedules kind of, it became a little bit of an issue. So Samantha came out, dropped this nuke on us, saying that she was going to leave, and that was that. So that is the latest stories that I'm getting. That's the latest stories that I've gotten up to this point. Now, as far as Lillian Garcia goes, word got out earlier that Lillian was in the area, so they must have known something was up. So before this announcement was made, they probably contacted her saying, hey, would you like to come down to Monday Night Raw? There might be something for you down here because Samantha might be leaving. Or we don't want the public to know yet, but it looks like Samantha's going to be leaving. Will you come down to Monday Night Raw? She said yes. Now, earlier today, there was some talks being made between Lillian and WWE. And as of now, for the foreseeable future, Lillian Garcia is now going to be the ring announcer for Monday Night Raw. That has been official. That is now that has been signed. The ink is dried. She is going to Raw. One reason why that this move may have happened, Netflix. Netflix wanted somebody massive to be the catalyst as the ring announcer heading into the jump in January. Now, Samantha was their primary choice, obviously, like everybody else would have said, But once the word got out that she was leaving, Netflix and USA Networks both wanted Lillian Garcia. They both wanted her. So WWE said, you know what? That's a smart idea. We love Lillian. Lillian's been great for us, and now that she's no longer under the McDinkelberg era, and now with Papa H, and Papa H and Lillian has had a very close relationship. Very good, very friendly, very cordial, professional, whatever you want to say. Triple H speaks very high of her. And that's why we got this announcement. So, with that said, that's the latest news that I got as of right now. That's your Talking Wrestling TXN exclusive. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Well, in the immortal words of the late great Regis Philbin, how do we follow that? My gosh, but we got to follow it. And now, how would Raw follow up on that massive news story from earlier today? Well, here we go, and this is it. We started it off with a. It's not often we say this, but we started this off with a backstage brawl. Seth freaking Rollins and Big Bronson Reed, they went at it. They went at it, and then the brawl spilled out to ringside. And wow. Okay, so the rivalry between Seth freaking Rollins and Big Bronson Reed reared its head tonight as the Visionary attacked Reed as he entered the squared circle. A fired-up Rollins called out the man who attempted to end his career 2 months ago, and a brawl ensued, with security and referees attempting to pull them apart. The intense confrontation continued until all involved finally separated them and dragged them in different directions. This was a hot start to the show that ensured viewers would not tune away. Rollins and Reed brought the intensity, and the result was a high-energy kickoff. And then from there, the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez interrupted a promo featuring Kairi Sane and Io Sky, setting up a tag match between those two teams for later in the show. Rollins demanded of Reed, "You want to be famous? Get your ass out here and I'll make you famous." And then Bronson Reed missed the tsunami and crashed through the ringside announce table. And then a few more times during the show, they continued going at it, and Adam Pearce lost his mind, and Adam Pearce had enough. And it is now official. Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia, November 2. It will be Seth freaking Rollins and Big Bronson Reed one-on-one in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel on November 2. MF, can you think of a more nuttier way to start off tonight's Raw in the Philadelphia, no less?
Philadelphia loves their brawls. Philadelphia loves to be the Broad Street bullies. And whenever you get a little fight or a little scrap or a little chaos, a little, we're going to throw some people around and destroy some stuff, you basically touch to the hearts of the Philadelphians. You're like, the Philadelphia, they love that stuff. I was going to say another word. I'm going to try to be very PG here tonight. But they were awesome, man. Bronson Reed and Seth freaking Rollins, you knew this had to go down. Great way to start the show. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a crazy way to start off Raw. I mean, with the brawl with Big Bronson Reed and Seth freaking Rollins, and they just kept going. They just kept brawling all throughout the night, and like you said, Adam Pearce. I've never seen Adam Pearce this angry in God knows how long, and that's when he finally said, "You know what? I'm finally gonna make it happen." Bronson Reed, Seth freaking Rollins at Crown Jewel. But man, oh man, boys, this is not going to be your typical wrestling match. This is going to be a fight between these two, especially with Seth freaking Rollins still having the memory of what Bronson Reed did when he almost ended his. He tried to end his career with all those tsunamis, but man, oh man, I can't wait to see what goes down between these two on Crown Jewel. So, nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And we move on to our first match of the night as we continue in the number one contenders tournament for the World Tag Team Championship. You remember the War Raiders, they qualified last week, and 2 more qualifying matches tonight. And next Monday night in Hershey, we're going to have ourselves a triple threat match. And the winner and the winning team from that triple threat match will be the next challengers for Finn Balor and JD McDonough and the World Tag Team Championship. And in this first matchup, we had the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods squaring off against Akam and Razor, the AOP. A lot of craziness in this one. R-Truth getting involved, Miz getting involved. But when it was all said and done, the winners of the match in 8.5 minutes, and moving on to the next round of the tag team title tournament, it's your boys, the New Day. Yeah, New Day advances. So, albeit with a lot of help from R-Truth. So we got the War Raiders and now the New Day added, and then later on we have another one with Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee squaring off against the Creed brothers, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So, New Day wins it, 8.5 minutes. MF, they didn't do it by themselves. R-Truth definitely the difference in this one.
Yeah, definitely the difference in this one, no doubt about it. Could it have been better in certain elements? Yes, understandable. But hey, at the end of the day, congratulations to New Day for getting the job done. They win, they advance, and that's the most important thing. They advance. There's really nothing more to say on that one. Nice win, nice victory. I could say about 2.5 to 3, and Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could have been better in some areas, but all in all, it was a 2.5 to 3 star match. But man, I mean, yeah, but after the match was over, I mean, it looked like, R-Truth was going to get a beat down. It was happening, and Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Wood. Well, Kofi wanted to go out there and save R-Truth, but you could see Xavier Woods literally pulling Kofi Kingston away, saying, "No, that's none of our business. That's his business." And well, he did get some help eventually, but from the Wyatt Six: Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, and they chased away AOP and Karrion Kross, and The Miz thought he was all in the clear. Well, you weren't in the clear, Miz, because Uncle Howdy showed up, and it looked like he was going to attack The Miz, but Paul Ellering sacrificed himself, and unfortunately, he got the mandible claw. So all those signs that we've been seeing lately, and it came to fruition with, looks like the Wyatt Six's new target is the Final Testament. So we'll see what happens with this. So, but for right now, 2.5 to 3 on the match. It's yours, Florio.
The match was fine for what it was, but the meat of this segment was in the closing moments. R-Truth got a measure of revenge. The Miz continued to tease an allegiance with the Final Testament, and New Day moved one step closer to the redemption of winning Tag Team Championship gold. And the Wyatt Six returned, fighting off the Final Testament until it appeared as though Miz would be left to suffer at the hands of Uncle Howdy. Instead, it was the Hall of Famer, Paul Ellering, shoving the former WWE champion out of the way and endured the mandible claw to close out the segment. The Wyatt Six versus Final Testament feud appears to be on tap, and given the crowd's eruption for the former, it is one the WWE Universe is ready to embrace. And you notice Karrion Kross at ringside, ominously staring at Xavier Woods, made for a story in and of itself. Miz appeared at ringside, dressed all in black, and watched from the edge of the commentary table the final piece in Kross's puzzle of the last 3 months. And R-Truth's appearance drew a big pop from the fans in Philly. He is perpetually over 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. And we move on to our next match, women's tag team action, as it was Damage Control. It was Io Sky and Kairi Sane squaring off against the women's world champion Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. The fight ends in a no contest, 9 minutes and 50 seconds. And it was all because of Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. They were sitting in the crowd. They were in the Yelladell for this match.
Actually, you stand corrected, Florio. Io Sky and Kairi Sane won by a disqualification.
Well, I'm seeing no contest on my notes here, so that's why.
Well, I saw something else here, so
right. But I do have 9 minutes and 50 seconds as the time of the fall, and
but if you want to call it a no contest, then I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. Even though Jakara hit Kairi first, so in a way it kind of would be a disqualification victory. But my notes say no contest. But regardless, it's the match ends in 9 minutes and 50 seconds, and all hell breaks loose. Jackson and Legend from NXT, they went after Kairi Sane and Io Sky. Let's not forget, those two teams will be facing each other tomorrow night on NXT on the CW. And on top of that, Liv and Raquel got in their faces. And then all of a sudden, Rhea Ripley shows up. More hell breaks loose. So Michael Bullock, try to make sense of all this, if you would. 9 minutes and 50 seconds, the time of the fall.
I'm going to give this... I'll give this about maybe 2 stars because, I mean, the fight did get thrown out. So, obviously, I mean, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson wanted to send a message to Io Sky and Kairi Sane. And for a moment, I thought it looked like that Lash and Jakara were going to go after... We're going to go at it with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and then all of a sudden here comes Mommy, and basically Lash and Jakara were saying, "Hey girls, you're on your own with this one." So, and looked like Rhea was gonna get her hands on Liv Morgan until, well, Mr. Dirty Dum Dum decided to pull Liv Morgan out again. So, I mean, it's like Rhea wants to get her hands on Liv Morgan, but no matter what, it's either Raquel Rodriguez or Dirty Dum Dum literally saving her, you know what. So this whole thing is far from over. I'm telling you this right now, but Florio, as I give this to you, we saw a very funny sign out there that had us laughing when it came to Dom Dom or Dum Dum.
Yes. I'm gonna put it in the private chat because I don't remember how it went exactly, but this is pretty much I put it down. I put it in the chat there. That's the sign that Bullock and I lost our minds over. So but anyways,
I'll tell you one person who wouldn't laugh at it, and that's Dom himself.
Yes, dumb indeed. But
or Liv Morgan.
Oh, of course not. Or any member of the Judgment Day for that matter. But
I'll tell you what, if I was the one that held that sign, they try to take it from me, I say, "You ain't taking my signs, assholes."
Oh, okay. So, all right. So, let's see. This was a solid 3. I was going to give it 3 1/4, but I'm bumping it down to 3. This was a perfectly executed match/segment, in that the creative team was able to focus on 2 different women's programs without shorting either. We know Damage Control and Metaphor have an issue that will be resolved tomorrow night on NXT on the CW, and Rhea Ripley once again came oh so close to revenge on Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Raquel Rodriguez. Did it further anything? No. But with reduced television time, it got everyone on screen in a manner that did not feel forced and highlighted the women's division in a significant segment of the 2-hour show. Rodriguez cut a promo in a pre-taped vignette explaining her actions against Rhea Ripley. This was well produced and something overdue by a week or so. Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend getting the TV time that they have in recent weeks is promising for them and suggests their call-up to the main roster is a given, if not imminent. And the crowd's reaction to Rhea tossing Dominic around was enormous. That is actually the money match, not Ripley versus Morgan, with all due respect. And then after another backstage brawl, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce announced Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed for Crown Jewel. So that's when that got made official. So overall, it was a 3 1/4, but I'm bumping it down to 3. So that's really all that I have to say about it. So not much more to say. MF, your thoughts on all this?
I'll go with the 3. I thought it was a solid match. Could it be better in certain elements? Yes, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I got really not much of an argument here, so yeah, nothing more to say. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and we move on to the other tag team contender tournament match, and as it was, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee squaring off against the Creed brothers. Of course, the winners of this match would join the other teams, of course, that had already won. Those teams, of course, being the New Day and the War Raiders. And when all was said and done, the winners of the match. I don't have a time of the fall on this one, but according to another one of my sheets here, I have now it says shown. I guess TV time is shown 7 minutes and 42 seconds. I thought it might have been a little bit longer than that, but nonetheless, I guess we could call it 7 minutes and 42 seconds. Rey Mysterio and Braun Breaker, they win the match. And they are moving on. So it will now be next week, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus the New Day versus the War Raiders, and the winners of that match will challenge Finn Balor and JD McDonough at some point for the World Tag Team Championship. Very good match here. I mean, the competitive back and forth bout came down to the involvement, of Zelina Vega, Chad Gable, and Ivy Nile at ringside, as their confrontation provided enough of a distraction that Ray was able to hit the 619 and Dragon Lee added the frog splash for the win. The action was strong and, more importantly, proved that giving 4 guys with the talent level of Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and the Creeds will result in a great match. One of the downfalls of the 2-hour format is that the longer matches fans had grown accustomed to on Monday nights are no more, meaning the talent involved has to maximize their minutes. All 4 competitors did that here, and the result up to this point was the fight of the night. This was easily 3.5 stars for me. And the only concern that I have is that American Made is in a rut and has fallen off significantly since Chad Gable's Intercontinental Championship pursuit ended unsuccessfully. That's my only little concern. But other than that, this is a very good match. I could say second best fight of the night for me. I think it went a little longer than 7:42 as far as I'm concerned. So I'm giving it 3.5 stars. This was an excellent match. So not much more to say. MF, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus the New Day versus the War Raiders next week in Hershey. And the winner of that match will challenge Finn Balor and JD McDonough for the World Tag Team Championship down the line.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see. I think it's going to be, we'll see how this plays out, but I think it's going to get very interesting down the line. But yeah, I could say about, like you said, 2.5, maybe 3. Nothing more to add. So yeah, back to you.
Michael Bullock.
Oh, what about me?
Go ahead, Bullock.
Bullock, it's all yours, man.
I'll give this about 3 for the effort here. I mean, this was a solid match. I mean, but yeah, I mean, what is going on with American Made? But since, like you said, Florio, since Chad Gable's run at the Intercontinental title, it's just been downhill for American Made. I mean, I thought they were going to build on this this new squad, but they've been losing matches lately, especially with since their feud with the Wyatt Six. So yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. So 3 stars for me. Let's move on, Florio.
And all right. And of course, next week is that 3-way match. That's the only thing that's been confirmed for next Monday night on Raw from the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Of course, tonight we were at the legendary Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. And we had a match, and we move on now to our main event of the evening after a lot of backstage promo stuff, including Damian Priest. Damian Priest wants another shot at Gunther, and rightfully so. He definitely deserves a rematch down the road, no question. But here we go. The return match from last month. It was 4 weeks ago. I can't believe it's already been 4 weeks. I feel like it just happened, but it was 4 weeks ago, September 23rd in Ontario, California, when main event Jey Uso finally won his first piece of singles championship gold in WWE when he won the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship from Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker wanted his rematch. He got his rematch, and tonight it was the rematch. In our main event here tonight, main event Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line. The winner of the match, 19 minutes and 35 seconds. And once again, the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Braun Breaker, regains the title. But MF, he didn't do it on his own. He had plenty of help. No surprise. The Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and the WWE Tag Team Champions, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, made their presence felt. And because of all that, Braun Breaker regains the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship in 19 minutes and 35 seconds.
Now, I cannot call history being made. I cannot do the unprecedented crowning because this was weeks of overbook and stinkiness, to say the very least. Yes, we do have a new champion, but we cannot give it the validation like we traditionally do on the show. Whenever we have a new champion crowned, we can say congratulations to Braun Breaker, and we can also say that you should probably cut the belt and give portions of your title to the Bloodline because of what happened. Yeah, this was an incredible main event. Easily 3.5 to 4, more than anything else. But like we said, new champion. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
What did you give for a rating, Fletch?
He gave it 3.5 to 4.
I'll give this about 3.5. 3.5 to 4 on this one. Yeah, like you said, this was definitely an overbooked finish. I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna give it 3.5 because of that overbooked finish. But as soon as I heard they made this the main event, I kind of had this feeling after everything that transpired on SmackDown that something was going to happen with this main event. I just had this feeling that the Bloodline was going to show up, and that's what we saw right here. And they have, Obviously, they wanted to help Jey Uso, and Jey was like, "No, I don't need your help." And as soon as he got physical with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu pretty much put the finishing touches, and Braun did the rest. So, it's eventually going to make Jey Uso change his mind and align with his brother Jimmy and Roman Reigns. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But for right now, 3.5 stars. I would give it 4, but the overbooked finish took away from it. So it's yours, Florio.
I'll give it 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I was going to give it around the 4.25, right around 4.5, but 3.5 to 3 3/4 because of the predictable, the more than predictable interference. I mean, we saw this coming from a mile away, especially after Jay's surprise appearance this past Friday night on SmackDown. You knew the writing was on the wall at that point when he got in the face of the Bloodline, specifically Jacob Fatu, as we all remember. But the match was beyond overbooked late, but it furthered the story of Jey Uso and his impending agreement to reunite with his brother Jimmy, Roman Reigns, and a fourth member against the Bloodline at Survivor Series and War Games. Braun Breaker regained his Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship as well, which many believe he never should have lost in the first place. That it was Jacob Fatu who was on the receiving end of Jey Uso's threats Friday night that cost Jey the title made plenty of sense and sets that program up as the secondary rivalry to Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Breaker and Uso executed a trading of suplexes spot on the ring apron that did not garner the reaction they had hoped and instead came across as awkward. The Breaker Fatu stare down was magic and should have Triple H and the creative team scurrying to find a way to get them in the same ring. And the false finish off of Jey Uso's super kick and top rope splash was fantastically done, just like in the last match. I mean, amazing. So, yeah. So this was 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Fight of the night, yes, but way overbooked. So with that being said, we move on to our overall review. And Michael Bullock, you started off. Your thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Raw from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia?
I thought this was definitely a better show than what we had last week. I mean, yes, there were some things I thought that definitely could have been better, but some things did get built up. I mean, of course, with the whole Jey Uso and Bloodline saga. So at the end of the day, I'll give this about maybe 7 to 7.5. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway from tonight's show may have been the escalation of the Bloodline saga, but the rest of the show featured some quality stuff along the way. We saw the reemergence of the Wyatt Six and the instigation of their rivalry with the Final Testament, the intensification of Damage Control's battle with Metaphor, the latest in the tag tournament, and the reintroduction of Damian Priest's pursuit of Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. There was a lot happening over the course of the 2 hours, and almost nothing to do with the upcoming Crown Jewel event outside of the never-ending Seth Rollins-Bronson Reed brawl. That suggests next week's go-home show will be a harder sell for the premium live event. For now, this was a solid episode that did a lot right, limited the missteps, and had a hot finish that will lead to a Survivor Series main event. So, if I'm going to be honest with you, I would have to say so far this was the best 2-hour Raw of the 2-hour format thus far. Last week though, that was a disaster, but this time around they got it right. Live crowd, one of the best one of the hot IWC hotspots of all time in Philadelphia. Lively crowd, the return of Lillian Garcia. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. So, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. So, so far for me, anyways, this was the best 2-hour Raw of the new format thus far. So 7.5 out of 10. MF, hit us up with your overall review, and then I will get into my very special Tony's take for Bound for Glory.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. I think you're totally correct with everything you just said. Nothing more to add. Anthony, go ahead.
All right. And if any of you guys want to be a part of this, feel free. So you can chime in if you want. This upcoming Saturday night, TNA Wrestling will present their 20th annual. Wow. Unbelievable. This is the 20th anniversary of their flagship pay-per-view, their WrestleMania, if you will. The biggest event in TNA Wrestling, Bound for Glory. It will be the 20th event under the Bound for Glory chronology. Not only TNA wrestlers, of course, but wrestlers from NXT and AAA worldwide will also appear on the show due to TNA having partnerships with those respective entities. Bound for Glory 2024 will take place, will be live this Saturday night from the Wayne State Fieldhouse in Detroit, Michigan. And it will be on pay-per-view. It will be on Triller. It will be on the TNA Plus app and so many other ways you can find it. Before I get into the matches, they're going to have Hall of Fame inductions. As has become tradition in recent years, TNA will have new inductions into its Hall of Fame during the Countdown to Bound for Glory pre-show. And being inducted into the TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame for 2024, none other than the War Machine himself and Detroit's own Rhino. Rhino is going into the TNA Hall of Fame. He has wrestled for TNA on and off since 2005, a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion when TNA used that as its primary title, a two-time TNA World Tag Team Champion, and main evented the inaugural Bound for Glory pay-per-view in 2005 when he defeated Jeff Jarrett to win the NWA Heavyweight Championship. Also being inducted posthumously is Bob Ryder, a former online wrestling journalist who was a co-founder of TNA in 2002 with Jeff and Jerry Jarrett and worked as an executive in the company until his death in 2020. So Rhino and Bob Ryder will be the newest inductees into the TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame this Saturday night as part of the Countdown to Bound for Glory pre-show. Congratulations to both men. We obviously know Rhino, not just from his time in TNA, of course, but also from his time in WWE. And of course, MF, better than anybody, knows of Rhino's days in ECW. I know MF would tell you one of the greatest ECW champions of all time. And Rhino's going into the Hall this year for TNA. I don't know much about Bob Ryder, but yes, well-deserved for him. I didn't even know he was a co-founder of the company with Jeff and Jerry Jarrett, but congratulations to both men. Always an honor to see that Hall of Fame ceremony. So awesomeness. All right. Now let's get into the card. There will be only one pre-show match as of right now, and it's a big one. It's the 20-person intergender Call Your Shot Gauntlet. The winner receives a trophy and a contract they can invoke anytime within 1 year for a championship match of their choosing. This is basically TNA's version of Money in the Bank, if you will. I don't know any of the participants as of yet, so I can't really pick a winner on this match. So maybe I could get back to you on that one, but let's go down the main card from bottom to top. The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, goes one-on-one with Steve Maclin. I got to go with Josh Alexander to win this match. I mean, Maclin could surprise here. He could win this match. And this is a match a year and a half in the making. I mean, these two men were supposed to battle for the TNA Heavyweight Championship at the 2023 Rebellion pay-per-view. But that was before Josh Alexander's unfortunate and untimely injury forced him to relinquish the title. And we ended up getting Maclin and Kushida for the vacant title instead, which Maclin went on to win the title before he lost it to Alex Shelley last year at Against All Odds. So, but I'm going with Alexander to win, especially with that new faction of his, the Northern Armory. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh, what a match we're going to have here. This is an MF special right here. TNA X Division Championship on the line. The champion, Speedball Mike Bailey, is going to defend against someone that you know very well, MF. The greatest AAA mega campeón of all time, El Hijo del Vikingo. Yes, Mike Bailey and El Hijo del Vikingo for the TNA X Division Championship.
And this is actually huge because this is El Hijo de Vikingo's first match since suffering what was a debilitating ACL tear that he injured in Mexico that basically stopped his run because he had a mega run going in AEW, and it was him that it was a match in Mexico. I think it was in Monterrey where he suffered an injury and was forced to relinquish the Mega Campeón of AAA at the time. And he had a 3-year reign as the champion before he had to relinquish the belt. So I mean, this is not only a big match for you, Anthony, but this is also, let's see what Vecino looks like now. Because we all saw how incredible he was prior to the injury. What is he going to look like now? This is his first match back since that injury. Very telling, to say the very least.
And it's going to be him and Speedball Mike Bailey for that X Division Championship. I'm going to tell you right now, I think this could steal the damn show. It really could. This is a potential show steal. But then again, there's another match on this card that could easily just as much steal the show like this match will. But for right now, I have to go with Speedball Mike Bailey to successfully defend the title. But I would not at all be surprised if El Hijo del Vikingo actually wins the title. I wouldn't. But I got to right now go with Speedball. I mean, Speedball Mike Bailey, to me right now, is on track to become one of the greatest X Division champions of all time, if not the greatest. Because what he has done with that title has been nothing short of incredible. And he's like Sheamus. He puts on banger after banger after banger after banger. Look at the match he just had with Leon Slater last week. That was a banger. I mean, they stole the damn show on last Thursday's Impact show. So who knows what's going to happen with this. So, but anyways, moving on. Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Danny Luna will defend the Knockouts Tag Team Championships against Rosemary and Wendy Chu from NXT. Right now, I got to go with Spitfire to win the title. I mean, to retain the titles. Would I be surprised if Rosemary and Wendy won the titles? I wouldn't. But for right now, I got to go with Spitfire because they just won the titles back some time ago. And we'll see what happens with that. Knockouts Championship on the line. The champion, Jordynne Grace, defending against Masha Slamovich. My gut is telling me to go with Jordynne Grace to successfully defend. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now, Jordynne Grace is my front runner for Female Wrestler of the Year in 2024 right now because of how dominant she has been with that Knockouts title. She won the title all the way back in January, beating Naomi when she was known as Trinity. She won the title from her. And for right now, my gut is telling me to go with Jordynne, but I don't know why, but my mind and my heart is telling me to go with Masha to win the title. Masha could be due for a title win here. So I'm actually going to take a big chance here, and I'm going to say Masha Slamovich wins the title. But would I be surprised if Jordynne retains? No, absolutely I wouldn't. Oh, we talked about Mike Bailey and El Hijo del Vikingo possibly stealing the show. This one could just as much steal the show right here. 3-way Full Metal Mayhem match for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. The champions, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards of the System, defending against Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys, and ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. I don't know why, but my gut is telling me to go with the Hardys. I think the Hardys are going to win the titles here. I think they're going to want it. I think they want to give the Hardys one last title run. I think they deserve one last title run. And This is their style of match, Full Metal Mayhem. Now, it's not a pinfall or submission. It's going to be basically ladder match rules. The TNA World Tag Team titles are going to be hung above the ring, and you know what they got to do. You got to climb the ladder, and you got to grab the belts, pull the belts down. So with that being said, the winners and once again TNA World Tag Team champions for at least one last title run, Matt and Jeff. I'm going with the Hardys to win the titles. Mike Santana goes one-on-one with Moose. Bound for Glory is known for big moments, and I think Mike Santana, from what I have seen on TV recently, I think Mike Santana is in line for a push, and I can't think of a greater way to really kick that push into high than to have him beat Moose. So I'm calling for the upset. I think Mike Santana is going to defeat Moose at Bound for Glory. PCO to defend the TNA Digital Media Championship and the International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship against Matt Cardona in a Monsters Ball match. Another Bound for Glory staple. MF, you know this. You know how wild and crazy and unpredictable Monsters Ball matches can be over the years. And I got a feeling this one could be just as much. But right now, I got to go with PCO to successfully defend the titles in this. I mean, this is his style of match, but you never know. We'll have to wait and find out. But I got to go with PCO in this one. And then the main event of the evening. This is the one that I know myself and Michael Bullock are going to have the most vested interest in. TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The champion, Nick Nemeth, defending against our boy Bullock. Say his name, and he appears. We believe in Joe Hendry. Nick Nemeth, Joe Hendry, TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. There is a caveat, however. Special guest referee, the self-proclaimed king of TNA, Frankie Kazarian. That's definitely some cause for concern, if I'm going to be honest with you. But MF?
No, just keep going. Give your thought. Okay.
Yes. So Frankie Kazarian is the guest referee. Nick Nemeth will defend the TNA Heavyweight Championship against Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry defeating Frankie Kazarian on a recent Impact to become the number one contender for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. Now then. I mean, before this announcement was made, I was fully confident about Joe Hendry winning the title. I'm starting to have some doubts now. I'm starting to have doubts. I mean, with Frankie Kazarian as the guest referee and among other things, I mean, definitely some cause for concern. However, TNA blew a golden opportunity to crown Joe Hendry at Slammiversary. Slammiversary should have been Joe Hendry's night. This is your biggest event of the year. It's also your 20th anniversary. It's the 20th edition of Bound for Glory. I can't think of a better way to end the 20th edition of Bound for Glory than with Joe Hendry winning the TNA Heavyweight Championship. He's the most over guy in the company. And he should have won the title at Slammiversary. But I think they wanted to hold it off to a much bigger event. And this is the only event that trumps Slammiversary. Slammiversary is the second biggest show of the year. This is the biggest. This is their WrestleMania. So, for me, the winner and new TNA Heavyweight Champion, Joe Hendry. MF, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah. The thing is, with Joe Hendry, it's not only just basically what's been happening. It's been a major groundswell from TNA talent pushing the management for Joe Hendry to win the title. So there is a major push about maybe Joe Hendry realizing his dream winning the TNA Heavyweight Championship and becoming that guy. So, will they listen to the fans? Because the fans want to see Joe win it all. TNA talent wants to see him win it all because they feel like he would be the catalyst that can start this new generation for TNA wrestling. Now, going into this, yes, we all were thinking the same thing. Joe Henry, Bound for Glory, biggest event of the year. This would be the perfect moment to put the belt on him. There is a cause for concern because of the fact of the referee. And yes, Anthony, I've heard that too. When I heard Frankie Kazarian was there, I had a cause for pause. There was a little bit of a type of a situation, but knowing the magnitude of this match and knowing what is at stake, with not only because of the title, but because of the event itself, I would not be surprised if Santino Marella comes in and has a second official just in case Frankie tries to do something. So I think there's going to be a moment where Frankie could get taken out, or there could be a bump, or something that's going to force Santino to either insert himself or create a narrative that's gonna neutralize Frankie Kazarian. I do believe when this is all said and done, Joe Henry will realize his dream. Joe Henry becomes the TNA heavyweight champion of the world.
My God, can you imagine? And if he does, can you imagine what that scene's gonna be like? Oh man,
it's gonna be insane. The crowd's gonna go nuts. But the thing is that the whole wrestling world has been waiting for Joe Henry to have a moment like this.
yes.
Like, for the last year or so, Joe Henry has positioned himself to become the face of TNA wrestling. He has. And the thing is, through the success of NXT, through the success of TNA, and with everything that's been riding on the line, it would be absolutely smart if TNA does put the belt on Henry. To let him run with it for a little bit, just to get the feel good. Because remember, once you get the title, this is where now we measure how great you are. This is that same thing like I was talking about when Cody Rhodes won the title. Because that was the moment we needed it to see Cody, step up. He has. And he's done very well as the WWE champion. That's the same narrative I got right now, more than anything else. So, we'll see. Florio, you got final say.
Yeah. And second referee, you said something. You said Santino there, MF. There's another name that we need to watch for, John Layfield. Let's not forget him.
That's true.
He could be a wild card in this, just as much of a wild card as Frankie Kazarian. So, but we're definitely going to keep an eye on all this. And 1 week from tonight, I will have my exclusive results of Bound for Glory and my exclusive review, because I am planning on watching that show on Saturday night, of course. So we shall see. So it all goes down this Saturday night. The countdown show, you can find that exclusively on YouTube. And then for the main show itself, you can get it on your traditional pay-per-view cable or satellite provider. Of course, you can also get it on Triller. You can get it on you can get it on the TNA Plus app, and so many other avenues. And that's that. So So with that, we put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again on Wednesday night at 10:30 over on MF's channel, Racefan 95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Madness. We got NXT, we got AEW Dynamite, and we also have Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football, this week's matchup, the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. So we'll get into that on Wednesday. Thursday night, we have the Week 9 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, and we're going to have an added bonus to this, folks. This is something that we normally don't do, but in this case, it's too big for us to ignore it. We are also going to preview the 2024 World Series between my American League champion New York Yankees and the National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers. This matchup is too big, too highly anticipated. Once we finish talking about the college football on Thursday night, we are going to give you our preview of the 2024 World Series as an added bonus. And then Friday night, it will be, of course, the Week 8 edition of NFL Friday, where we will recap the Vikings and the Rams, and we'll preview all the other games of week number 8. And then from there, Saturday night, following Bound for Glory, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk. We will have Friday Night SmackDown, and we will also be previewing NXT Halloween Havoc. So don't miss that. We'll figure out a day for the recap show, and then 1 week from tonight, Ridiculously Raw, we review the go-home show for a crown jewel of Monday Night Raw, and of course, another special Tony's Take where I will have my exclusive review of TNA Bound for Glory. You'll get my thoughts on all the developments and the whole 9. Cannot wait to get into it next week. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, it's Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, always and forever, our First Lady, the Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.